Good afternoon, everybody. It's Saturday. Welcome on in. I am getting a little bit later start than usual, but we're probably only going to do a couple hours here. And just kind of roll from there. One second here while I get my screens up. See what I am doing. Alright, there we go. Welcome on in, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone's having a good weekend so far. I'm doing well. I'm all... my neck is all out of whack here, but otherwise, I'm doing okay. I'm also trying to make sure I sit at least a little more correctly in this chair. It's more difficult than you might think. Oh God, neck is really. Anyway, so yeah, last night we were going through and I'm basically pushing a lot of these structure creation things out to one class here. I'm doing that mostly to try and kind of... I'm trying to put all this stuff that I don't like for whatever reason into one spot so that I can look at it all at once and kind of be like, all right, here's the patterns. Here's a pattern that'll work. Here's a pattern that won't work, kind of thing. And also to kind of give me another sort of overview of all the classes. I think I'm going to diagram the classes a little bit, just so I can see how they're all currently interacting, and then I can kind of get a better picture of what's going on. And yeah, it's what I'm doing here is definitely not good OOP. Not that I ever do anything that's good object-oriented programming, but this is particularly egregious. But again, it's just so that I can kind of... I view it more as like a... You know, when you first open up a jigsaw puzzle and you dump out all the pieces onto the table, and then you start going through and sorting them out to see what you've got. That's kind of what I'm trying to do here. It's very possible that everything that I've moved, I'll end up moving right back at some point in the future, and we'll end up back with how everything looked in the first place. It's entirely possible. And that's fine. I'm okay with it. I just need to... I just need to do this so that I can see everything at a glance almost. So we'll see. Oh, man. Of course, I would sit down and my neck would start to bother me. Oh, it's not going to work itself out right now. Anyway, it is what it is. This is the problem with getting old, is that you don't do anything to cause it, but then everything just starts to hurt, just randomly. Okay. So yeah, let's get some of this over here. This is just our app info stuff. Application name, engine name, version. I did 1, 2, is that? Yeah, let's do 1, 4 there. Alright. This should be relatively straightforward, I would think. So let's go pub. Oh, for crying out loud. I hate when that pops up. Public, static. What is it bringing back? EK application info. Great. Application info. String app name. And I'll say it's probably an int at version. An engine version. All right. Okay. Oh, that's a byte buffer. That's why. Okay. Let's do that. All right. So we do application info. Automation layers, required layers, extensions, required extensions, and then create instance info. All right. Where's that use portability extensions come from? Required extensions, get required extensions. Wait, don't I have a... So what does that do? Number of extensions. Extensions. Foundation layers. Yeah. What are we doing here? Where? So required layers is being used for what? The instance info. Enabled extension names. Required instance extensions. What do I do with that? Okay. Can I? This really feels like there's stuff here that should be pulled apart. Instance layer. Uh, Validation layers, though, are, if I'm not mistaken, they are debug stuff.
This just keeps getting better.
Which is fine. I'm all about the debug stuff, but yeah, because this is going into debug utils. Validation layers. Um. Instance GFW. Wire extensions. Wait a second. Instance extensions isn't even used in here. Did I miss something in the get required extensions? Yeah, get required extensions. So wait, we have get required instance extensions. And that's just looking through all of them. So render instance. What do we? That one. Validation layers. Supported validation layers. And then acquired layers. Wait, what? Okay. So when I do get supported foundation layers. There's the get supported, and then get instance extensions. Right, instance extensions. Get required instance extensions. Okay, so that's only used for this boolean then. So the support foundation layers, acquire layers, get extensions, extensions. So this is, so we don't need that then. That's only used for that part there. Okay, so what I'm going to do, all right, so we have get extensions here. So let's go and move this somewhere. We'll do a for the hell of it, we'll do a extension utils. We're doing. So paste this in here for a moment. Logger. Okay, that returns that. Extensions initialize your new hash set is redundant. Because of the collects, I guess. We'll leave it there. Alright, so extension utils. So what I'm gonna do, this is literally the only thing that's used for, right? We don't put that anywhere else, do we? So yeah, if I get rid of this, oops. It's the only thing that breaks, right? Yeah, it certainly is. Alright, so then it looks to me like the only reason we're doing that is to do that check. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, oh, I hate this fucking pop-up. I hate it. Boolean. Let's see what I can come up with here. So this is use portability. Down here. And we'll do just extensions, right? And then this guy is probably over here, right? Yes. So grab that, and I'll bring that over yonder here. Okay. All right, back here. And then all I need to do is portability extensions. So boolean use equals there we go. All right. That's cleaned it a little bit. Okay. So then we have the validation layers stuff. And this is all I'm going to venture a guess and say it's all debug related. So set require layers if supports validation. Enabled layer names. Okay. Supports validation is used there. Required layers. Debug utils. Create debug callback. Yeah. Get required extensions. If supports validation. Otherwise, do that. Okay. So let's just take this. Just take that out of there and extension utils. Put that in here. Public static. Okay. required extensions goes into there. Required layers goes into there. Okay. Let's see. Because everything's interconnected here. It's like whether you want debug on or not. Supports validation. Create instance info, VK instance. Right. This comes from that. Probably put the I put this part in there too and have it come back as a record I can pull the stuff out of. So first things first. Validation layers. Set required layers. Validation layers. If we support validation. Brings required layers back, which goes into there. Okay. So how do I do this? What I'd like to do is I don't use validation layers beyond this, right? Just for that. All we care about is what layers are going to be required. Even that's just a temporary variable. So then required layers. Required extensions. Hey, well, welcome on in. How you doing? If I support required validation. So debug utils. Is this? I see. Logging extension goes into that one. Okay. I'm like, is there a particular reason why this is above the create instance info? Yeah, there is. Okay. Alright. Alright. Is this debug utils used beyond this? I do keep it around. Oh, it's probably used to clean up, right? Yeah, destroy instance. Yeah, okay. Okay, I got it. It's the afraid for tomorrow, I am. Pretty good. Pretty good. You know, it's been a nice, relatively quiet, long weekend for me. Not too much going on. Haven't, I intended on, starting to put together my new computer, and I just punted. It's like, we'll get around to it. I'll get around to it. So, yeah, it's just been kind of a, lazy day kind of thing. Not too much happening. I was trying to like do some like off-camera gaming, trying to make some progress in some things, and I just was not in the mood. One of these days, every so often, I just have these days where I'm just like, I'm not really, everything that I normally, I find fun, I'm bored of for some reason. And that just, like, every so often that happens. I'm just like, yeah, I could go play some of these games, or I could just not. I could just veg out. So I've been kind of vegging out mostly. I at some point need to record some more for the YouTubes and stuff, but I just haven't. I just haven't, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Even like, I was even late starting today with the stream, just because I was like going back and forth, like, do I want to play a game on stream? Do I want to do some coding? Do I want to just, cop out? But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I'm feeling like this is one of those times where I feel like every so often I say to myself, like, maybe I should just take a couple days off of just streaming. Like, I'll still be working and stuff, but like just take like a few days off of streaming, just kind of relax and come back to it. And I'm sure everybody would say, yes, go do it, but I'm like, I don't really know if it's gonna do anything. I don't really know if it's gonna do anything for me, because it's just kind of like, on the one hand, I feel just stuck in a rut. And on the other hand, it's a good rut to be stuck in, I guess. So yeah, I don't know. Hey, Tech, welcome. It's going good. It's going good. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, should I take a few days off of streaming? Should I you know, should I focus on other things? I don't know. I might do that, just on a whim at some point. It really depends on what I'm feeling like. I think in general, like I have my usual sort of staycation coming up in July, but I'm also kind of wondering if I should take a couple days in a row in June or something, um, just to kind of like a mini vacation, because it's just it's one of those things. Like interestingly enough, I was having a little bit better luck this week focusing on work and stuff and getting work done. Um, and it felt good, but at the same time, it's like I feel like it's enacted a toll. And I don't know. I don't know. It's just I'm in that kind of just kind of in a funk a little bit, where there's stuff that needs to get done, and there's stuff that I need to do, and there's still stuff that I enjoy, but nothing is um, nothing is satisfying at the moment. You know what I mean? Like I'm getting things done. I don't have any stress, but nothing is really like uh, nothing is triggering the endorphins, as it were. Right? It's just like it's kind of just rolling along here. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Feels like almost like a tiredness, but not actually tired. It's more like a feeling of sort of you've finished a marathon and you're still recovering from it, kind of a thing. Or maybe a hangover would be closer to what it's like right now. Yeah. Anyway, it's nothing crazy. It's just so often you just get into these weird like immovable places. yeah, it's not really. I mean, that's the thing. It's not really tiredness. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's a mix of just sort of disgust and and indifference, I guess. Uh, like nothing's particularly fun and nothing's particularly bad either. It's just kind of everything's just kind of neutral right now. Is what's going on. But whatever. It's a it's not an unknown place to be in. Let's put it that way.
Soul and traveling over many systems, when it became clear that the Terrans were losing the Terran conflict, these colonists eventually
Yeah,
settled in
it's like
previously unexplored space.
we have a
Seemed the perfect place for
plethora of games, of good games to play and stuff, and yet you look at your whole library and you're just like, man, I'm just not really in the mood right now. that's that's kind of the feeling. It's like, then you try to think, well, what am I in the mood for? And you're like, really nothing. Really, really nothing. Um, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I was playing some Torchlight earlier, doing some of the side maps that get generated. And I was just absolutely getting my ass handed to me. And as I'm playing, I'm just like, I know this game is fun and I enjoy this game, but man, it's just kicking me when I'm down right now. It is taking a pleasure in kicking me while I'm down. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. uh, so this, yeah, supports validation. Really, that's just being used to tell if any layers support validation, and then it's marking them as required if any are there and putting them into there. So this whole thing here feels like a one operation, really. Kind of, sort of. So, what I can say here is, let's grab this. And let's go here. I'll say public static. What was the name of the thing? Pointer buffer. Okay. Pointer buffer. Get required validation layers. Okay. And grab that. Make that one. And it gets supported. Validation. Layers. Get required layers. Pull those out of there. Oh crap, I should put these in a... This is not the class I wanted to put these in. I want to put these in... Let's do debug utils. Doing. Do that and private debug utils. Wait, no. Static. Right, and then where did I put that other thing at? Require layers. What am I doing here? Hey, Yusuf, welcome on in. How are you doing? I'm doing good. I am doing good. Weird layers. Support validation layers. Require validation layers. Didn't I just copy all those over? Support validation layers. Required layers. What am I doing here? I am right now just kind of moving things around. So I'm in the process of trying to learn Vulkan stuff. And I was going through a book on it. And I got to a point where I realized I really am struggling to understand what's going on with it. So I'm just kind of moving things around, trying to get my brain to figure things out. Is this a game? Eventually. Right now it's barely anything. It's just I'm starting from scratch. I'm building a game from scratch, and this is the very early foundations of it, like very, very early foundations. So that's what I am trying to work on, or trying to figure out. Required extensions, required validation layers. Yes, this is the one I wanted to pull over. Alright. Does it require math? At some point, probably. There is definitely some math involved along the way. I am not good at math, so I will probably go look on the internet to see how to do things and just follow how those are done. You know, the actual, like, the 3D portions of it and the lighting and all that stuff, eventually there's some math involved in all that. But I will be deferring to whatever algorithms I can find online. whatever algebra I can find online to do it is what I'll be looking at. I'm definitely not going to be trying to figure my own things out. Is the music too high? It's okay. I turned it down just a little bit. Some of the tracks get really loud. No, I'm not good at math. Not at all. I'm decent enough. I'm decent enough at algebra, and most of coding is algebra at some point. But as far as anything more advanced than that, nah. Geometry, I was interestingly enough not very good at geometry either, and this is going to be a lot of geometry at some point. I am from Pennsylvania. I am in the U.S. You worked in Android and Flutter? Nice. That's another part I haven't really dug into, is Android development and stuff. So Awesome. That's good. Yeah, I haven't dug into any mobile stuff yet. It's the one thing I haven't touched. I would like to look into it. Um, I started to look at like Kotlin and stuff, but I didn't get too far with it. Because I needed something to do in it, and I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do, what I wanted to make. So yeah, I've been pretty much I've been full stack development, but it's all been web based, not mobile stuff. So you know that is what I generally do as for a job. This game dev stuff, the stuff I do on the weekends, is just me trying to learn things. Kotlin is more difficult than Java. Yeah, I can see that. But it's it's a little more. It seems to me like it's a little bit more functional programming, to an extent, and I'm cool with that. I can. It's it's always a good thing to just try to learn. Once you have an idea for some reason you want to use a language, it's always nice to try to learn one just to see how everything else comes together. And I don't mind that. My biggest problem is just finding small projects that I'd want to do in those languages. The for loop itself is not trivial like Java. Hmm. Yeah, I would imagine. It's I mean, you're talking about languages like talking about Google Google languages, languages that started their life in Google, and Google tends to want to make things a little bit more complicated probably than they really ought to be. Um, there's a lot of devs that are they're all about the syntactical sugar, and I get it, but they want to type as little as possible and get the maximum benefit from it, and I get it. But sometimes you end up making things a lot more complicated than they ought to be. Do I know the Telegram app? I've never used it. I've never used Telegram. No. I've heard of it. I've never had to use it for anything. I barely even use the things that I should be using. I I should be using things like Discord and whatnot, and I barely use those. I use Teams at work, and that's about it. It's open source, but it's horrible code. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's written using Java. I mean, there's a lot of open source things out there that are, when you dig into the code, you see a lot of craziness. But I mean, that's part of it, right? Part of it is looking at something and going, how would I do this differently? And then, because everybody's got their own idea, their own feel for what they want, for how they like their code and how they would do certain things. And also, you have the benefit of hindsight too. Looking back at something and going, "Oh, well, that doesn't look so great." I mean, hell, I look at some of my code 6 months later and go, "Wow, I really took the hard way to do that, didn't I? I could do that so much better right now. You know, it's you grow. You know, you learn, you grow. It's a file that contains over 100,000 lines of code. Yeah, I mean, some of that too might be, I don't know if they've auto generated things too along the way. Uh, so I don't know if that was auto generated code or because you might have things like the old soap services used to generate boilerplate code, and they would just generate all these classes in order to match whatever the WSDL was. And so you wouldn't, nobody wrote them. They were just um, generated interfaces to be able to use stuff. But that said, 100,000 lines is probably not. That's probably hand lovingly written. It's kind of like what I'm doing here. I'm dumping a whole lot of code into a class just to kind of wrap my head around it in the hopes that I can then figure out where it should really go. But when you're in a corporate setting, you finish one thing and you're already on to the next thing, and you never get a chance to go back and really refactor. Okay, Ella. No problem. So what do I got here? Get required validation layers. So I need let's do memory stack here. Do I know anything about the GPU pipeline? Not really. I'm still trying to figure that out as I go here. I've got the beginnings of a pipeline going for Vulkan here, but again, I'm just following a textbook that's out online for this, and they're trying to explain it, and someone a lot more intelligent than me probably could pick it up right away, but I'm just kind of like, I need to see the bigger picture in order to be able to figure out all of the individual pieces. One of the things I'm going to do today is take all these classes and just kind of graph them a little bit, so I can get a little bit better idea of where everything interconnects, because that's kind of where I'm struggling right now, is figuring out all these. There's so many moving pieces here that it's hard to get a bead on what's calling what and why. And I'm only on chapter 6. So I'm only at the point where at the end of this chapter you're supposed to be able to make a shaded triangle on the screen, and that's just that part is already kicking my butt here. What am I doing? Get required validation layers. So that was. Get required layers. Foundation layers. Get required layers. Okay. get supported, and I'm missing foundation fallback layers. So I gotta bring that over somewhere here. Oh, where's that at? Here it is. Right here, in front of me. So grab that and put that up here. What's the problem here? Oh, missing return statement. We're ultimately returning, I think, required layers. Required validation layers. So really this is stack validation. And that will give me back a null, right? If, yeah, the validation's not turned on. Okay. And then that is supports validation. Yeah, all those are in there. So that means I can get rid of this. All right, and think. What was the other thing? Supports validation. Oh, I wanted to return. Yeah, I need this supports validation later on, right? Yes. Yes, I do. So I wanted to actually return a thing here. Let's do extension or layer results. And this needs to be a, let's see, pointer, buffer, required layers, and Boolean supports validation. Okay, then we'll return validation results. Required layers, supports validation. Do I need the number of validation layers for anything? Oh, I just use it. It's just used there. Okay. That's fine. So this is... Yeah. Okay, debug, callback. So here I want to do... Let's grab this. Over here. Static. Just do void for a second. Create. Oops. Debug. Books. And over here we do this. All right, create debug callback. Turns that, and I want to do. Candle. It's long. That and do that. Okay, and then I want to return a so debug hooks results, I guess. And this is that for bug util, and then long extension. And we want debug utils, and then logging extension, which, yeah, that's correct. Might not have been initialized. Yeah, sure. Whatever. See if that's. Okay, so create debug hooks. Comes up here. So I want. Well, really, we can do hooks results. And this would be sports validation. And then I could just say this dot debug utils equals debug hooks results dot debug util. And debug hooks results logging extension. All of this is to create an instance, a VK instance. So I'm going to put all of this together. In the structure utils. So let's go here from here. Debug stuff, more debug stuff. Don't need that right now. That needs the instance in order to be created. Okay, so I'll just cut all this out. Come down here. Public static. EK instance. Create instance. Okay. So first things first, we need the logging extension. So that's okay. What is that? Oh, that's a log actually. Long logging extension. Application info. So UK application info. Okay. Pointer buffer wired layers. And then required extensions. What does that take? Pointer buffer. Okay. And Boolean use portability extensions. Okay, now we need this guy. Came up here. Okay, instance equals structure utils. Right, instance stack. Logging extensions, that's the web hooks extension. All right, then we have the app info. And the required layers results. And required extensions. Portability extension, all right. And then this can just go over in the debug thing. So we'll do Control X there. Public static. I don't know what to call this. Get debug handle. And that would be just a long, okay. And the memory stack here. And I need the VK instance. Oh, what's the debug utils? I think it's that VK debug. Tools master create info. Seems to be happy about it. Okay, and then got that. So get debug handle. Oops, goes back over here. Vulkan debug handle equals debug utils, get debug handle, stack. Got the wrong thing there. Sports validation, VK instance. What am I doing? Stop popping things up. I'm trying to think here. Stack. Where's the... I think it's the required layers results, right? Sports validation, yes. Okay, instance. Utils. These probably are missing from debug utils. Yeah, message severity, message type mask. So let's get that over there. I don't know if those have to be public or not. I'm going to make them private for right now. Let's see what happens. Okay, that's all there. Vulcan surface here. I don't think we're creating very much now. Okay. Swap chain. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. Well, it is actually only that one. I mean, I could from this hole all the way down. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of maybe taking this whole thing that creates the swap chain create info, putting all this stuff and putting it into a method, and then returning the ID, which is all that we actually really care about here, and use that to build the image views and all that stuff. Yeah, let's see what this sets me back. Creating here swap chain. Okay, swap chain. Actually, long. Create swap chain info. This is just a long value. Okay, so long surface ID. Image count. We'll say image count. This would be a surface ID. Okay, welcome back. Oh, image format, image color space. Oof, excuse me. Surface formats is Vulkan swap chain surface format. Bring that in. Wait, is this coming from... It's one of my classes, isn't it? No, I don't want to do that. It's image format, it's color space. BK extent 2D swap chain extent. Array layers. Surface capabilities, current transform. Transform is that. Let's see. How's all the coding going? It's okay. I'm sort of, I kind of alluded to this last night. In many ways, I'm trying to run out the clock almost. It so it takes me a while to have a light bulb moment. You know, when everything starts to actually click and start to actually make sense. And a lot of this code moving that I'm doing, even though it's not really the proper place to put these things, or even, you know, the final way that it's going to look, kind of shuffling this stuff around is me trying to help myself understand what's going on and what I'm doing. Trying to get like the bigger picture almost. So I'm taking all the stuff that I don't really, that I'm not all that happy about, and I'm putting it all in one spot so I can kind of look at it and stare at it and just see if there's any way for me to do it differently or better. Or I might end up throwing them all right back right where they started. But the other idea is that I'm just trying to, it's kind of like it's like when you're doing sort of a musical instrument or something, you just kind of tool around with it a little bit until you start to actually pick up the basics. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, I know that eventually some of this will start to make sense, and I'm hoping that by kind of shuffling the deck chairs around a little bit, that I'll start to see the bigger picture and how all these things actually fit together. And like I said, I do want to like draw a little diagram here of all the interrelationships between these classes right now. Again, just so I can try to get a better picture of what it is I'm doing and why I'm having to do it. Because even though the book that I'm using explains it, it doesn't jump back to a higher level to explain things a lot of times. A lot of times it just explains a little piece here and a little piece there and a little piece here. And there's so many little pieces that all have to work together for Vulcan here to work, that it's hard for me to keep it all in my brain and see how it's all supposed to work together. You know, so right now it's more like, you know, right now I'm not making any forward progress other than to say that I am trying to wrap my head around what's going on. So I'm no closer now to getting something on the screen than I was, you know, 2 weeks ago. But that's my hope, is I'm like, can I figure this thing out or not? It's kind of where I'm at with the game dev stuff right now. And then as far as like the bot coding and stuff, I haven't been back to that in a while because I was kind of frustrated with it, because I know what I want to do. That's like a different kind of frustration. This is I don't know what I don't know, and so I'm trying to learn, and so that's its own kind of frustration. And then the chatbot thing is a different kind of frustration, because I know what I want to do, I just don't know how to do it. And so that's just kind of, that's hitting a wall in a different way. And so I've taken a little break from it because, you know, I got so frustrated with it that I was just kind of like, let me just let this sit for a little bit and I'll come back to it. And I want to get back to it. It's just, there's just that big hurdle that I need to figure out. Because I'm really, really keen right now on having the bot be able to do multi-streaming, because I multi-stream all the time, and my setup is, well, my setup works, but it's janky as hell. Like, it works, but there's a lot less flexibility in my setup than I would like. Um, I would like to be able to send like HLS streams to YouTube. I'm already sending 1440p 60 there, um, and 1080p 60 to Twitch and Moonbeam, but I there's two big things there. One is that I'm using X265, 264, X264, so it's all CPU bound, which is just not the greatest. Especially given that I've got all kinds of GPU power just sitting there waiting to be used for it. On the one hand, it is making for, it looks like a much clearer image on Twitch um, than I've ever gotten. Apparently, Twitch really likes X264, but I still would like to get back to using NVENC encoding and all that stuff. And it's just the setup I have. I couldn't get the NVENC stuff to work, and I feel like if I coded it, I could get it to work, using the FFmpeg library. I'm just struggling to figure out how to integrate that and how to do it the way I want to do it. The bot will be up to date, yeah. Multi-stream, yeah, exactly. Well, and it'll be doing something that, as far as I know, no other bots are doing. Right? Most of the chat bots, even though they connect to multiple services, you're not streaming through the chat bot. You're just streaming directly to the service. And what I want to do is I want to make it so that you can stream to the chatbot. The chatbot acts as a little mini server running on your machine. You stream to it, then you have the ability to turn off and on endpoints as you want. But also, I want to be able to, if I can do it, I want to be able to allow you to manipulate your stream via the bot. In other words, a lot of people who multi-stream worry about the whole showing other chats on their stream, because Twitch was like, you can multi-stream, but you're not allowed to show the other chats on your screen. Which I just, good luck, good luck enforcing that, is what I say to that. And it doesn't hurt anything, but that's just Twitch being Twitch. I would like to get it to a point where you could theoretically do that, where you could have just a chat showing up on one stream but not on the others, and doing it via the actual video stream. So actually injecting the chat into the video stream itself. I think would be an interesting way of doing it. And then there's also other things like, for instance, we all tend to have sounds and stuff that fire off, notifications and things, like when someone subscribes to you or follows you on Twitch and all that stuff. And if you're multi-streaming, I mean, there's nothing wrong with those sounders going off. But if you're multi-streaming and you're multi-streaming to YouTube, there are situations where you might be streaming to YouTube purely as a way to have a VOD immediately, and you may not want all those sounds and stuff going off on your YouTube VOD. So perhaps you could have it where those notifications go off for Twitch, but they don't go off for the other stuff. Um, Similarly, audio isolation. YouTube is more strict around what music you can be playing than Twitch is. And right now, you can isolate the Twitch audio via OBS and via the additional channel and stuff. But what if you could do that what if you could do that with Moonbeam or YouTube and stuff like that, right? Where you could just say, hey, on these other services, I'm gonna play music that I know is not gonna hit me. So I would like to try to do that kind of thing, but man, that is like, it is so above my pay grade. Right? Like, it's an area of coding I've never ever gotten into. I've never done anything with video stuff. I've never done anything with audio stuff. And FFmpeg as a library is very powerful, and I'm pretty sure it can do a lot of that stuff, a lot of the heavy lifting. But can it do all that? I don't know. But that's one thing to find out. But I just I feel like that would be the direction. I'm thinking about how I multi-stream and how I do things, and I feel like if I could write a bot for myself that does all that stuff, that would be fantastic. And then if it's fantastic for me, then I would imagine other people would find some usefulness out of it. Maybe not all of the features would be useful, but probably some of them would be. But can I actually pull that off is a big unknown right now. I remember last year saying that I would probably be ready for beta testing by now with the bot, and I've just hit this wall. It's like writer's block, right? Where you know what you want and you just cannot put the words on the page. And that's kind of what I'm feeling with the bot right now. I know what I want, but I just cannot for the life of me put the correct code in the editor and get it working. And I need to. That's another one where I just kind of need this epiphany, where I just need this light bulb to go off so I can be like, let's try that. Let me see what this does. And once I can, once that ball starts rolling downhill, it'll pick up momentum, and I'll be able to really, I'll probably be able to make some progress on it. But it's a combination of being frustrated at my own lack of ability and not having the mind bandwidth, not having the brain bandwidth to work on it off stream, right? Like it's one of those things where I need to do some work. I need to fire up some music, do some work on it when I'm not trying to be at least mildly entertaining, right? And just be able to just focus, just get into total 100% focus. And that's really difficult because the day job takes a lot out of me. It shouldn't take a lot out of me, but it does. And then, the streaming at nighttime helps a lot more when I'm gaming, because it helps me unwind and helps my brain kind of relax for a little bit. But as I was saying earlier, I'm kind of in this funk where nothing is refreshing right now. You know what I mean? It just feels like, I've been playing a lot of games. I'm enjoying the games, but they're not rejuvenating me. Like sometimes you probably know the feeling where you play a game and it just hits every note that you're looking for, and you're just enjoying it. Not only enjoying it, but also playing it like gives you life, essentially. Like it makes you feel better at the end of it because you just so into it. You're so enjoying it, and that's kind of where I'm at. Where I'm like, I'm enjoying stuff, but I'm not enjoying it to the extent that I'm like that it's making me want to jump out of bed in the morning and get started. you um, so that's really the issue right now. And this is not it's not really a it's not really a it's not really due to any particular like the state of gaming or anything like that. It's just kind of like it's just we all have our ups and downs, and I'm kind of in a valley right now. I'm trying to climb up the next mountain, get back up there again. Offline should be your chill time. I yeah, and this is, you know, a part of the streaming is a little bit of a chill time, um, but it's also work, uh, as much as it's not work. Um, it's just one of those things. I would certainly I enjoy it more that I don't care about numbers, and I don't have to worry about making money off of it because I've got a very good job that I love, and I don't need the extra cash. It's nice to have, but I don't need it for anything. It's not putting food on the table. So from that perspective, it's a lot of fun. It's it frees me up to just kind of just play whatever game I want to play, make whatever content I want to make. Yeah, it's more chill, essentially, and that's good. That's what's really good about it. But it does still enact a toll. um, and there's quite a lot of streamers that don't do every day, right? That they'll just do 3 days out of the week or something like that. Um, and I've thought about that sometimes, like, should I drop my schedule down to 4 days or something, um, and see how that goes. But it's it's hard because on the one hand, I think that would be good, but on the other hand, one of the biggest problems that I see a lot of like smaller streamers doing is that they're just not consistent. Um, and it's difficult when you're not consistent. People don't know, like I'm a creature of habit, right? And I'm sure there's a lot of other people who are creatures of habit. And if they get into the habit of like, oh, I'm gonna go run on the treadmill right now. Let me pop, Outlaw on the TV while I'm running on the treadmill, so I have some background noise, and I can kind of look over every so often and see him crashing into things, and feel slightly better about myself in the process. um, but there's that there's that piece of it. But there's also that consistency also is the thing that just causes you to just burn the candle at both ends too, right? Because there are just days where you're just like, you're just not in the mood. And I if I'm not in the mood, I usually call it off. Um, and I've done that several times. I'm not shy about saying like, look, I'm just not in the right mind space. I'm not going to stream tonight, kind of thing. Um, but on the other side of it, I also enjoy it. So it comes down to that, like, you know, not doing it kind of it makes you feel bad after a while. Like you feel bad not doing it, and you feel less bad doing it, but you're also tiring yourself out too along the way. It's yeah, it's a balance. It's a difficult balance. And as I alluded to last week when I was reacting to that video, like that balance is very hard to come by, you know? Hey, Ibaka, welcome. And thank you. Um, so yeah, it's just one of those things. It's one of those things, you have, like I said, you have frustrating periods, and then you have really good periods, and it's just kind of, you just put your head down and and do what you can, try to find whatever balance you can find, you know. Um, that's the rough part. And it doesn't help, in fairness, I think I'm sometimes affected by the weather as well. Like we've had the last couple of days have been just rainy as hell, which is weird because we went through April with barely a shower, and then like May is like, oh yeah, here's all the showers now. But so it's been kind of dreary during the day, and then we're just getting over, we're just now getting into summer basically. I mean, we're almost there. We're like, what's it, 78 degrees today, something like that. So late spring, early summer. And I like to be able to like get out for a little bit and walk around and all that stuff. And it's rough sometimes going out there and just feeling like you've just covered yourself in a sweaty gym sock with all the mugginess and the rain and all that stuff. So some of that might have to do with it too. It's just a thing. It's a thing. I prefer the summer over the winter anyway, so I guess that's the other problem too, is that this winter felt long. It was definitely chilly. We didn't have that much snow, thankfully. But it did feel like it dragged for quite a bit longer than usual. And that has a little bit to do with it too, because then when it's cold out, I don't even want to be outside. So it's, I like the warmer weather because I actually want to be outside. I can't be outside for very long because, I'm a pasty white guy, and I will burn to a crisp in less than 5 minutes. So I have to do it late in the day, when when I have some more time before cancer. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm pushing myself more and more because I love the community. I feel like I'm letting people down who don't, but I also know we need breaks. Plus, I don't know what's happening with my streams, having those lurkers around. Kind of came out of nowhere. Some came from Instagram, they told me. Gotcha. Yeah, I noticed your streams are you're getting more consistently, like 30 plus, which is good. That's awesome. That message sent on its own. That was yeah. Yeah, no, that's yeah, I've noticed that. That's good. That's good stuff. And it's good that it's happening now too, because the summer is usually when views on streams tend to drop off because no one's at college. You know, they're all back home and doing stuff. And so if you're going up now, that's fantastic. You know, I'm noticing. I was mentioning to you at one point that it was like I'm noticing a lot more views on older video games and stuff. So I've been playing more. I've been playing video games that are a couple years old now, because they're all, I guess, more affordable. But a lot of those views are happening on YouTube itself. Some on Twitch, but mostly on YouTube. And that's kind of interesting because the YouTube algorithm has always been very strange. And like a bolt out of the blue, you'll get something that has a bunch of views, and then you'll get nothing. And then a bolt out of the blue, you'll get a bunch of views, and then nothing. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. And now it looks like more and more there's a reason to it, or at least a rhyme to it. And that's interesting to see. I'm actually getting, even in my YouTube recommendations, I'm getting more of a variety of channels than I've ever gotten before. So I don't know if they've tweaked something or if they are cracking down on something. I don't know. I wish to hell that YouTube would crack down on the AI shorts. I'm so sick of seeing shorts come up there like, did you know in the movie The Predator they did this and that and the other thing? It's like, just I don't. Why did you put this together? Or they do, and the other one that absolutely burns my ass is when they have like a Reddit post, and they'll put a Reddit post there, and they'll have an automated voice, you know, reading out the Reddit post while there's some random ass Minecraft, gameplay happening in the background of it. Those things just absolutely drive me insane. And there's just been an explosion of those as shorts, and it's just, I mean, I know there's a race to the bottom when it comes to like content, and I'm kind of glad that the race to the bottom has switched over to shorts, because honestly, it seems to be having a weird effect on the algorithm where I'm now getting recommended longer videos, and the shorts are just crap, but you know, a whole bunch of crappy shorts and a whole bunch of really good long videos, long form videos. So I'm like, okay, this might be a thing. This might be a good thing. And why are those shorts so freaking loud, right? Exactly, right? Like they spent all this time getting AI to read a script, and they couldn't spend an extra 5 minutes to balance the audio on it. It's like, geez Louise. I mean, that's just. I mean, it's the content farms. They're just spewing out whatever they can right now. Um, it's insanity. But hey, you know, it's it's a self-inflicted wound as far as I'm concerned when it comes to YouTube. They have all the power. Google has all the power to make something good, and they've decided that they just don't want to spend the money to do that. You know, tomorrow, YouTube could become number one in the streaming site, service, because if you look at the numbers on YouTube, they streaming numbers, that is, they blow away Twitch by a country mile. But the only reason Twitch is still number one is because they actually have a site dedicated and tools dedicated to streaming that are actually, reasonable. And YouTube's streaming stuff is a hot mess bolted on top of their existing video infrastructure. And at any time, they've got the money, they've got the resources, they've got the time, they could completely redo that stuff. And the moment they did, I can almost guarantee, that they would be instantly the number one streaming site. But they're only interested in eking out profits and not innovating, which is a bit unfortunate. Current pre-transform is what? Is that that's an int. Should I do image array layers? Image array layers. I guess I should, for sake of arguments. And image array layers. Sharing mode. I'm not gonna expose the sharing mode and stuff right now. I'm sure these will be changeable, but I'm not gonna worry about it at the moment. Pre-transform is an int. And clipped is a boolean. Okay. So image array layers, pre-transform. And clipped. Okay. Oh, I gotta pass vsync in there too. All right, I have to take a biology break, my friends. So I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna stretch, do what I need to do, and I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes. So hang tight and enjoy the music. Okay, I'm back. I did not realize it was 8 o'clock already. Jeez Louise. Where has the time gone? All right. Let's see what we got here. So you need vsync. Where does concurrent queues come from? Concurrent queues is it's passed in. Okay. So pass that into here. Along with vsync. And then the presentation queue. And the device. Okay. All right, good. Okay, hello. Have a good dinner. Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. Create swap chain info. Okay, is that? Device. Okay, if I got this. Hey, Doris, welcome. Tag in. How you doing, Doris? Here. So if I create, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Just yeah, just keep it on, basically. At this point, everything's good. Everything's just moving along. I'm just I'm along for the ride right now. Surface capabilities. Okay. Okay. So if I do. So if I do. This.id. Equals structure utils create swap chain. Oh, yeah, create swap chain info. Stack surface that get ID. Best buffering setup. What's the next one? Image format. Surface formats. Image format. Surface format. Color space. Surface formats, color space. Swap chain. Extent. Oh, I got too many commas here. Swap chain extent. Image array of layers is 1. Pre-transform is surface capabilities. Current transform. And clipped is true. And what's the other one? Concurrent queues, presentation queue. So concurrent queues, presentation queue, and then device, which would be what? What do we do here? Device, get device. Okay. Am I off by 1 here? Expected 13 arguments, but found 12. Clipped is true. Oh, vsync. Is true, vsync. There we go. Alright, so then I should be able to get rid of all of this since we've moved it. Okay. Well, that's a thing. May not be a good thing, but it's a thing. Yeah, okay. It's good there. These are fine. Well, this is probably okay. Present info KHR. What is that? Where's this used? It's used to do Q present KHR. Out of date. Else if result failed to show KHR. Okay. So what I could do here is stack longs, semaphore list. Okay, let's do Present info. Just grab this. And we'll say public static EK present info cage R. Create present info. Int oh, there's a whole lot of nonsense there with longs and ints. Do it anyway with just one, and then we'll see what happens here. So we'll do int swap chain count. No, I could do it. Let's do long. I want to do this. Do I want to do it as an array? I guess ultimately swap chain IDs. Int image indices. And then semaphore list is what? Current frame. We do get current frame. What does that get me? So it'd be just one Vulkan swap chain, sync semaphores. Under complete semaphore gives me a semaphore. So I could just take a list of semaphores. Let's do that. List semaphore. Semaphores. Okay, so we have that. Paste this in, we'll return that. So here we just do this would be Well, wait, should I just I'll just pass the ID in. Alright. It's just longs. Yeah, let's just pass the ID in. Screw it. So for IDs. So I can just do do this and swap chain count, swap chain IDs, image indices. Okay. Up here, we just have to do VK, present info KHR equals structure utils, present info, stack, swap chain count is 1. Wrong ID. Ints. Each index. And then basically this. Okay. It's a little bit uglier than what was there, but again, I'm trying to put everything, trying to get all the stuff that I'm not too happy about into one spot. That's fine. Swap chain render pass. There's a lot of buffer creations going on here. And then there's a VK render pass. Create info. Attachments. Subpass dependencies. We need just the long coming out of it, so create render pass info. Actually, just create render pass. Let's do that and paste that in there. This is what we're returning. And attachments. Subpass description. Alright, where's the attachments at here? There we go. Attachments. Subpass description. And dependencies. And then VK device. Most likely. So this .id equals render pass stack attachments swap chain get device. Okay. Try and okay. So we've reduced that by just a tiny amount. I've got all the structure creation stuff over here anyway. Alright, so I think that's everything there. I mean, we have Vulkan engine and Vulkan window, but I don't think there's anything in here that I need to mess with right now. No. Okay. Scene. No. Shader. Looking shader program. I think these are fine here. Okay. So I've got everything moved over into this structure utils class. All the structures are being created. All of them being created along the way. There are quite a lot of them. There are quite a number of them. And not a whole lot of overlap either. So there's that. Okay, so what we'll have to do is we've got debug utils here, or roughly debug utils, extension utils, foundation fallback layers. I never brought that over. Where's station fallback layers? Where is that at? Oh, it's in debug utils. I need it in extension utils. Okay, I could do make this public. And I can just say do that. All right, that's good. Does this actually compile? I don't think it will, but oops, that's not what I want. Control F9? Nope, I didn't want that either. That's a window filter thing. Forward renderer. Not be applied to given types. Okay, so I do still have a yeah, I do still have a bug here because I was trying. This is where I was trying to wire things up, and I was like very confused. Okay, so now the question is: so what I need to do is I need to go through and put all these things in a graph. All these classes and graphs, so I can see where the hell everything interconnects as far as my current setup is concerned here, because that's where I'm getting super confused with things, and some of that too I want to pull over from the book here as well. Like they have some interconnection graphs here somewhere.
Particularly after their reunion with the Terran Teridi colonists, TerraCorp have strived to make Home of Light a place where all feel comfortable.
I want you to turn me into a liar. Yeah, like stuff like this. Like I'm glad they have stuff like this. uh,
necessary.
but I really need to see the bigger picture. So I want to look at that. But okay, and I want to see the bigger picture as it stands with the way I have things set up, and that includes the not only the Vulkan stuff but also the OpenGL side of things that I have there. I'll look at those. But I'm probably going to stop here right now. I kind of want to jump on a little bit later, do a double, do my Saturday double stream here. I kind of want to jump on in like maybe an hour, be about 9:30 my time, and play something. I don't know what I'm going to play yet. Kind of have a hankering to jump back into Defiance for a little bit and just shoot things. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing about Defiance is you can just kind of jump in there and just shoot things and with reckless abandon. So I might do that. I don't know. Let me see how I feel in an hour here. And I gotta see if I'm even gonna do it or not because it's I'm a little bit tired, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'm gonna stop here. Next week, I will likely do some of this on Friday night, but there won't be any Saturday stream because it's Memorial Day weekend here in the States, and I have a barbecue to go to on Saturday. I'm looking forward to. So, there won't be any stream for me on Saturday, next Saturday. But as far as upcoming this week, tomorrow, obviously tonight I'm going to do something, and tomorrow I'm going to jump into X4 again. It's been a while since I've been back to it, so I like to jump back into it and do some stuff there. And Monday and probably Tuesday, I will. We'll see. I might just do it Monday. Monday, I'm definitely going to be almost definitely doing Oblivion, back to Oblivion. Tuesday, I may end up doing a different game, because I love Oblivion, but Oblivion's going to take a long time to get through, and so I'm kind of positioning it as like a once a week thing, but we still have to get through Sandland. So I'm thinking potentially, if I'm up to it, I think Tuesday and Wednesday, maybe we'll see if I can finish up Sandland, and get to the end of that, because I think that's all I really need are like 2 more sessions with Sandland. I think we can probably get to the end, or at least darn close to it. And then Thursday, so we finished Grim Dawn for now. I'm still waiting for the next DLC to come out for that. I'm going to probably fall back into Torchlight and make some more progress in Torchlight 1 and try to get closer to the end of that. And I've already mentioned next Friday night we'll be probably doing some more of this GameDev coding stuff. I'll probably be spending that night doing the diagrams I need to do here potentially. And yeah, that's I think probably what we're going to do. I know that there's a game coming out this week, 17th, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20. Yeah, on Friday, there's a couple, actually there's 2 games I think coming out this week that I want to play. I think on the 22nd. Oh yeah, that's right. So we probably won't do any Torchlight then this week, because I think Thursday there's a new game that I want to play, that I want to sit down and play, called Deliver at All Costs. It looks like it's going to be particularly interesting. And then I think Friday the 23rd, we're getting Avalon, Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon, which is basically, I mean, I played a demo of it way back when, but it's basically like an Elder Scrolls game almost. It's kind of structured like one, and it looks pretty interesting. So I might jump into that. In fact, even so far as you start out in a prison cell. So I might take a look at that and jump into that for a little bit, and we'll see where we go from there. There's, as I've said, there's a ton of games, and not enough of me to go around. So we'll have to just keep plugging our way through until we get to the other side. So that's where we're at with that. So cool. If you happen to run across this on the YouTubes and you have a like and or a subscribe that you can spare, that would help out tremendously. I appreciate it greatly. And I'm not going to rate out because, like I said, I'm going to come back in like an hour here, and probably do something, gaming of some kind. So in any event, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hope everyone has an excellent morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on what it is for you. And I hope to see you back here again in the future for some more stuff, whatever happens to suit your fancy. Until then, see you, bye.
This is the way.